What's up, guys? We have got my main man, Jeremy Kane here, one of my brothers who we work closely together with. I'm super excited to have him on the channel today and to talk about his systems that he puts in place to alleviate a ton of pressure on finding the next deal and actually just use the people you know to make sure that your business evolves over time and grows into a complete lifestyle business. So, Jeremy, what's up, brother? How's it going?
What's up, Lewi? Excited to be on the channel.
Yeah,
Excited
dude.
to jam out about this. It's funny because I was actually on a mastermind call earlier this week, and there was one of these, mid-level to high-level real estate coaches who has never sold a home before. And he just said, working by referral isn't predictable and you don't control anything. And,
Oh.
I kind of got fired up, and I'm still fired up. That was 5 days ago, but
I
it's
love
straight
it.
to the heart. And so I've been going back and forth with my buddy on that, saying, well, who is this guy? What's he talking about? And
Yeah.
the truth is, I think a lot of people in our space kind of say that because they're so focused on, leads and everything like that. And I mean, I'd like to eliminate the word lead from my vernacular if I could. But
Yeah. So what's funny is when Jeremy and I met, I was still doing a lot of deals through Zillow, and I was a Zillow Premier agent and getting Zillow deals and stuff like that. And he was like, dude, we need to get you off Zillow. I was like,
okay. You're cool, but we can't be friends.
So, and when we did that, so appreciate it, dude. So yeah, like tell me about that. Let's kind of, talk about, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to the word sphere marketing and, like past client, referrals and stuff, it's like a lot of, when I talk to newer agents or whoever, they're like, well, that doesn't, it's not something that I can do in my business right now or work towards or whatever. And I kind of feel like if it's something that you actually just build into what you do in your business, then that's how it grows. I think people wait until it's too late. And it's like, oh, that person that I sold a home to 6 months ago, I should probably reach out. And it's it gets a little dicey at that point. So tell me, like when did you kind of come up with this structure and system and stuff? Or is it something that you've always done automatically?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that I mentor as well are, I don't have a sphere. I'm not from where I'm working, or, but I came into the industry and I lived where I lived my whole life. I went, an hour north, graduated from Colorado State, and came right back. And so I did have that network and sphere, but there's a lot of people that have that don't tap into it. And so I think sphere marketing, network, working by referral, whatever you want to call it, I think on the front end is a monster to deal with, because you have to get all your information. You have to get all the people when you could just go see something shiny and get a bunch of internet leads, which essentially is just names and phone numbers and emails at this stage of the game, and, build it that way. And then you could say, well, I have 5,000 people in my database. Well, 5,000 people in your database without proper nurture anyways is not going to get it done. And so I just decided I wanted to work with people I already liked. And so I didn't want to have to build those relationships. Turns out I wasn't a jerk to a whole lot of people, I don't think. So I continued to, kind of dive into that, and I didn't have to work on building the relationship. I already had the relationship. It was just about changing how I interacted. So that was on the front end. Where things really changed is on the back end, right? And so, sure, as a new agent, you don't have a ton of repeat clients because you don't have any clients. And so I think what I do now is really put structure into place that every single client that I interact with, or the agents that I'm training interact with, needs to have the very best experience. I mean, it goes back to that Zillow thing. Zillow, Redfin, all of those places, Realtor.com, are kind of in a certain way trying to replace the real estate agent. And the only thing that a computer can't do is provide a white glove experience to these clients. And so if you're able to do that, your very first client can turn into, 5, 6, 7 clients down the road. And that's where I really dialed in. I'm talking 60, 70% of my transactions in 2020, when I sold 52, were from repeat client referrals.
That's
and
wild,
so,
man.
36 of 52 from repeat client referral. And that's where it kind of clicked for me, and it was kind of second nature at that point. But what I was doing to stay in touch without even obviously I had a plan, but not like knowing it was like a good plan, really, transform my business. And I'm at a place right now where I don't have to, chase the next deal, or I don't have to do a whole lot of lead generation. I stay consistent. I do the touches that are required, and that constantly, keeps a flow of business no matter what the real estate market is.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's super important because I've been terrible at this, like terrible in the past about it. I bet I've left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table because my past client follow-up was so terrible because I was always chasing that next lead, right? I was always chasing the next lead, the next deal, whatever. You're always looking for that short-term gain, but not thinking about the long-term momentum. So what I guess, what does this look like then? Like, I'm guessing that it doesn't, well, I know you, so I'm not guessing. I know it doesn't just happen like, okay, when they close, that's when our plan goes into play. Obviously, like throughout the transaction, you're really building this relationship to a point where when they close, like they want to keep in touch with you. You're not going to be an annoying realtor moving forward. It's like, hey, I'm going to keep helping you as we kind of go. So what does the relationship up to the closing point like look like for you?
Yeah, it really starts with consistency, right? Anybody that I talk to, I do live videos every single Wednesday. I don't get a ton of engagement on there, but I get, 100, 200, 300 views just on Facebook. And then I distribute it out across, YouTube and all of that. But almost every single one of my clients mentions something I say in one of the videos or references, I was watching your video. So I really work hard on the front end before they're even clients, just while they're my friends on Facebook or following me on whatever social channel, to be a market expert. Right. And so that's my thing. I know what the market is. I look for winners and losers. I don't push a lot of like, hey, you need to buy a house right now. I talk about, opportunities in the market, but I always say in those videos, the best time to purchase a home is when your lifestyle is ready for it, when your bank account's ready for it. Doesn't matter if the interest rates are 10 or 2. The best time to buy a home is when you're ready. And so I just kind of have that kind of passive, conversation and so people just ask me about the market, right? Yeah. Investors say, hey, should I hold on? Should I keep selling? Whatever. So I'm appealing to a broad, from first-time home buyers to investors, because I know that market. Once, there is a real estate starting conversation, then it's just, okay, dial it in one-on-one. What's it look like for you? Because that's huge. Once you have that conversation, people are asking you questions, then they already know you. They've already, done the thing. So our good friend George Bryant talks about the inverse journey. So then it becomes fully about them, right? What's it look like for them? Kids in school, kids graduating, wherever that they're at in the life cycle. How's this timing work? And talk to them about, okay, well, this is, the best time traditionally to list in your neighborhood or whatever. But if you're ready, let's go. I'm not going to be the guy that says you need to list on, March 15th every single year. That's the very best weekend to list in Colorado. That's not accurate. If you're ready to list your house, I'll sell it. We'll get top dollar and we'll do what we have to do. So there's that confidence there too. But they know by the time they get to that point that I know the market, they trust my knowledge. So putting out the content, that first conversation, going full in on their situation, and then it just kind of is a process.
Yeah.
Having it dialed out, showing houses, whatever that looks like.
Right. So you're establishing yourself as the expert, which, by the way, is the most important thing that you could do. If you're a realtor, you don't know what's going on in the housing market. It's not a great start. You can make all the fancy videos you want on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't know what you're talking about, especially if like you've attracted a client with your videos and with your branding and stuff like that, and then they come and start asking you questions and they see there's nothing, below the surface level, that's going to be a real problem. And we've seen that plenty of times with people we know. So, establishing yourself as, an expert in the market, and then, listening to what they're looking for, all that good stuff, coming through the contract process, you found them a home now, you're under contract, you're working through that. Clients, I think it's something like 80% of people say they enjoyed working with the realtor they worked with, and only like I don't know, it's a small
19
percentage,
or
something
yeah, in the
actually
team.
right. So
Work with me again.
where are people going wrong with this process, and what do you think it is that you do either throughout the contract and then obviously when it closes and onwards? What are you doing that's keeping your statistics so high and out of the ordinary of the like national standard?
Yeah, and I think that's huge, right? Is you hear it all the time. I'm a relational realtor. I'm not transactional. But the truth is, you have to fight really hard as a real estate agent not to be transactional, because that's your livelihood. That's your income. You have to get to the next deal, but you also have to understand where that next deal might come from. And so, first off, when we're under contract, very organized, 2 or 3 things at a time. One thing I hear everybody say a lot is, hey, we don't sell this. So we don't sell and buy houses every single day. Right. So some realtors get like dialed in and they're just like, okay, cool. It's good. I'm taking care of this. Sign here, sign here. But some buyers and sellers are like, whoa, like it depends on their personality type, how much information they need. So it's really important you dial into that. You don't want to give a first-time home buyer every step of the process the day you go under contract, because they'll forget, they stop at the subject line, right? So bit by bit, feed them information, keep them informed, communicate as much as, explain as much as they need to know or want to know. And so that's a big part of the process, is just chunking it down into 3 steps. I do, under contract, obviously, is, checkpoint 1 through inspection, checkpoint 2 through appraisal, checkpoint 3, congratulations, we closed, checkpoint 4. And so I'm explaining all of that. I put it in type and emails. I have conversations about it, and I answer questions, right? And so they have that positive experience. They know what's going on. I kind of tailor it to, okay, this person's an engineer. They're going to read every single thing. Like, they want to know everything up front. They want to know all the details. Yeah. Great. We have more conversations with them. Or this person, trust me, it's my, best friend from elementary school. They're just like, dude, sign off. I'm busy in life. I'm over here making money, doing my job, and then you just kind of keep them updated and segments. So I think that's, the first part. And then once the closing happens, literally my email says, like, this is the start of our journey together. Like, it is my goal to be a resource for them no matter what. And a couple things that I do specifically, first things first, is I love helping other people build businesses. So if they're a small business owner themselves, or they have a side hustle that, is kind of different, I'm going to drive as many people as I possibly can to them as a business owner. So it's kind of taking it off. It's, obviously we had a closing, we had the transaction, and now how can I pour into them? Do they have an HVAC company? Are they a lender? Are they an inspector? Obviously those contractors, in the real estate process that you need, for sure, that's pretty obvious. Like, if you have some of them, you're great. But maybe they, for instance, one of my clients is a cake baker, right? And I've sent her 5, 6, she decorates cakes for little kid birthday parties, side hustle, not her gig. But I've sent 6 or 7 referrals to her to drive business to her, right? She's bought 3 houses from me. She's also referred, friends and family to me. But that's constant. And she's making probably a $10 profit on making a cake, and I'm making a $10,000 commission on, a home sale. So yeah. I just constantly try and fill up anything I can. And, maybe their husband does something, or maybe their cousin or brother, if I can get in that family unit and help someone build business so that we have that relationship. Every time that person talks, they say, oh, Jeremy sent me another referral today. And it kind of develops that sphere as a mini sphere over there that's going to drive me back and forth to referrals. So that's kind of that idea. Yeah. But say they're a normal W-2 employee, then I'm going to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. I have a pretty, strategic cadence. They get a nice closing gift, personalized closing gift. Then I say, okay, I'm going to purchase, pizza for moving day. Right. And it's not handing them a Domino's gift card. It's my people will actually order the pizza. They don't have to think of anything. They fill out this form, tell us what time they want it delivered. Pizza shows up. Okay. Because how many times you've been helping a buddy move and they're like, oh, what should we do for food? Or, all that stuff. And the wife leaves for, her husband, whoever's ordering the pizza, leaves for 15 minutes and you're, slanging their heaviest furniture.
Oh,
right?
I've been there, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely do that. Take that off their hands. A 3-day post possession call. It's post close, but I always do possession. So pizza on possession day or moving day, they get to pick the date. And then a 3-day post possession call. Hey, how's it going? How's the first couple nights in the house been? Anything, out of the ordinary? This is a call where you can really just talk about the house, and it's a cool check-in, right? Immediately showing them that the relationship isn't over. 3 days after, hopefully they've gotten some stuff moved in and they're a little settled, but is there anything that happened? I've been known to send over my handyman. Yeah, my husband, dropped a dresser on the hardwood floor, right? Or whatever. Like, send somebody over there to take care of it. $400 or $500, definitely worth it. In that piece, scraped walls, whatever. And then at the 3-week mark, I also send a $25, hardware store gift card, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you have, just to say, here's for the dents and dings that might have happened through the process. Regardless, it's just a starter. $25 is nothing, but it's also another touch point. Call them after I send that out. Hey, how's it going? This is where, maybe you're saying, oh, they didn't tell me where to turn the sprinklers on, or the one I get mainly is like, where the hell is the mailbox? Like, for like detached homes, you don't think about it. And all of a sudden we have those tower mailboxes now, and, we have to go through that process. I definitely tell them how to do that at the closing, but sometimes they don't hear when they're signing thousands of documents. But so 3-week close. And then after that, I kind of, give them some space. There's no more gifting until the year, but three months after close. So it's 333. I just call and check in. I also add them to a, property, market analysis tracker. I use HomeBot. I know there's a million tools that you can do. So they see that, I add that 45 days after closing, because I don't want them to see a HomeBot thing it's kind of delayed. So I don't want them to buy a home for 500,000 and then the HomeBot comes the next day for 400,000 and they're obviously upset. So I get in there, I tweak it a little bit. 45 days after, once the market catches up to it, they get that. And then 3 months, I give them a call and just check in. How's it going? Anything going on with the house? Typically there's been a season change. So, we maybe couldn't test the AC at inspection because of the temperature outside. That's a Colorado problem. But, making sure everything's legit and good to go, making sure they don't need anything. Sometimes they say, hey, we're still getting packages from this previous seller. Can you help me out? Just kind of facilitating those things that might be a little bit nagging, I guess. And then at a year, I send crumble cookies out. They get a nice delivery. Love getting the pictures of the kiddos, just, frosting all over the face, like best realtor ever, that kind of stuff. From the kiddos, because that's, both of our current life cycles is that family lifestyle. So that, and then I do an annual review, which is pretty powerful. And
this is a big one, because when we first met, you told me about this. I was like, what? Like, what is this that you do? Because the stuff before this, it's not like I've heard it before, but like a lot of people talk about these things. I don't think a lot of people do what you do, but a lot of people talk about it like, oh, we know that this is what we should do, but not a lot of people do actually that follow up. And what I love about that first piece is that you're touching them at least 4 or 5 times within the first 6 months of them living at the house, which is huge. It's almost like, they just know that you still have their back if something goes on. They just know that, I think, if they can turn to you for whatever, if the water heater goes off or like, or something happens, like, it's not like, okay, we need to find a plumber. It's like, hey, call Jeremy. I know he's probably got someone. So that part of it, I think, is huge, because you're staying top of mind for anything home related, which is huge. And I do a terrible job of that, but it's a huge piece. Now, just to touch on that before we move on here, is there a way? I feel like, a lot of people are like, okay, well, if I haven't done that, say I've been in the business for 2 years and I've never done that before, like, is it too late to start that with like clients that you've closed maybe a year ago and haven't reached out to yet? Like, what would you say to do in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, I would say go straight to an annual review. And that's kind of the reason that I kind of created this. A lot of agents send out CMAs, right? How many times you see it on Instagram, sending out 15 CMAs today?
Yeah.
And the truth is that it's almost junk mail, right? It's a waste of paper. It's 10 to 15 pages, of stuff they don't care about. They look at it, they see the picture of their home, they look to the back page, see how much you said it was worth, and they don't care about all the other stuff in there, typically, depending on their personality type. And so this annual review is something, and I do it on the home anniversary month. Like, if you bought a house in April, where you're going to get crumble cookies sometimes in April, and then you're going to get a link to book a home anniversary, or an annual review call with me. But I could do it on houses I haven't sold, right? So if I have 10 to 15 people in my sphere, hey, I'm doing these annual reviews. They know you're newer to the market. They already know, like, and trust you. And if you cater it the right way, they'll be like, wow, no one's ever done that before, right? Someone sent me a CMA, maybe, probably not. But so the annual review is based on, like, my buddy is a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual, and we do an annual review every year. He sits down and he adds more kids apparently to my whole life insurance policy and college funds, but because that's what I do apparently. But it's just going over it, right? And when I was 30 years old and I didn't have a self-employed pension, SEP, any IRAs or anything like that, okay, I'm giving him 25K a year, and I'm just watching, okay, now I got 29. That's cool.
Yeah.
That grew $4,000. That's a great return. Don't get me wrong. But when I started thinking about it, your home is your biggest asset. 99% of the people, the home they own is their largest asset. And so, but we don't have any advice on that, right? And that's why Zillow's so big, because they have this estimate. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. People like seeing how much money they have, right? How much equity they have. And so it's unrealized gain, and people don't necessarily understand that. But when you sit down for an annual review, I focus on, okay, what is your general market price, right? If I've never been in your home, or I haven't been in it since the day we, did the final walkthrough, I don't know what it looks like anyways. So I'm just going to give you a general market price. This is actually the price that most real estate agents put on their CMAs when they do listing appointments, not caring about, okay, yeah, you have a Viking stove, or you have, an acre of land or whatever. Hopefully they're paying attention to that, but they don't. So it's just a general idea. Like, hey, this is your estimated market value. That's it. That's the only number they care about, remember, from the CMAs that we do. And then I also have kind of what's your equity, right? What's your net equity right now? So either I can figure it out based on the time they've been in the home, or I can ask them when I'm setting up the call, like, hey, how much do you owe on your mortgage?
Right.
And I'll have it. So I have these two numbers at the top of the page, and then I'm just driving. My goal is to drive business to my referral partners, my industry partners, my clients that bake cakes, all of the thing. And then, so we go through it. First things first, I touch on property insurance, because in Colorado, that's a hot button topic. It's gone way up lately. There was a fire not too many years ago where 80% of the homes were underinsured. People all of a sudden had $1 million home one day, and it burned down. They were underinsured because of the property gain, and they had to go purchase a $750,000 home somewhere else.
Crazy.
Right. So that's a huge lifestyle change. Obviously, I'm dealing with bigger numbers here, just where it happened to happen. And so I always say, we've had great appreciation in our market. Reach out to your insurance company, make sure you're covered for, this value up here. Make sure if something terrible happened that you could have it replaced, because a lot of those people had to just pay their mortgage back, right? When the house burned down, they had to pay their mortgage back. That's all the insurance money would cover. And they're back to square one, right? With hopefully $100,000 equity to put down on something else. So that's a huge deal. There's also like sewer line coverage and appliance coverage and things that are way cheaper than home warranties and that kind of stuff. And actually they follow through. So I talk to people about adding that, or, whatever, just talk generally about their homeowner's insurance. Then I talk about their loan. Do we have mortgage insurance on there? Do we have, all the what's going on? Is there a better loan? Is it time to refinance because of interest rates? Whatever. Just talking about loans, trying to drive people to my lenders, right? Hey, call this person. They're great at that. Then I also go on to, okay, home improvements. What are we doing on the home? And this is a huge one. Again, as you can see, driving people to my insurance guy, driving people to my lender. Now I'm driving people to my contractors. And so, what are you looking at to do on your home? Because I feel like the people that I work with and that have done work on my home that I know, like, and trust already, if they're in my clients' homes improving it, I know that it's a good product. Mm-hmm. I know that when they call me in 2 years to sell their home, that, okay, we're going to update the kitchen, we're going to update the bathroom. So it's pretty strategic, and I can have these conversations with people, but I know the work is quality, and it's upping the value of the house that I'm going to sell, making my job a lot easier on the back end.
Yeah.
So driving people, anything you want to do. Oh, I want a new kitchen. Oh, I want to, stamp concrete patio. We want to put a shed in. We had a hailstorm. I need a roofer. I've done all kinds of things come up here. We need a water softener, all the things. So I can continue to be that source, right, of driving people and capitalizing on those relationships, right? My HVAC contractor literally told me the other day I built his whole business just by referring him, furnace cleaning and services, because of, the amount of people. And I actually drive people to him. So every year, hey, get that furnace, checked up on. It's a little older. An inspection is the better care you take care of it, the longer it's going to last, so on. So that's that part, kind of like big dreams. What do you want to do with your home? And then it's other. I literally just ask them, is there anything you have earmarked for that equity you have? Because typically it's a big number this day and age if they've been in the home for 2 years.
Yeah.
Denver. And is there anything you have, slated to spend that equity on? Right. And so things like college graduation and, college funds and weddings and all the things that we like to do kind of in the legacy play. How do we access that equity? Because most of the time people don't even have a bank account that has that number on it,
mm-hmm.
And how to access it smart. So that's, again, lending or HELOCs or, selling, planning to sell it. And then also, hey, have you ever thought about an investment property? So that's the only time where I really am even considering driving business to myself is, hey, do you want to kind of duplicate, use your equity, make it liquid, and all of a sudden someone else is paying half your mortgage and that mortgage, and you're gaining from appreciation on both sides. So that's kind of where I go there. And it's pretty powerful.
It's genius. And I think there's a lot going on there. Obviously, I think what I love about Upfront is that you're going with a giving hand. Like, your intention is to just help them, because I know your philosophy is, if I just keep helping people, it will reciprocate eventually. It's that delayed gratification play, right? But at the same time, when you're outsourcing your vendors and people like that, if you're sending them business, again, it's business coming back to you, because there's no way your HVAC is going to ever recommend another realtor to anyone if you're building his business like that. So it's amazing to see like all these little connections all come together throughout this simple act of caring about your clients, communicating with them, and following up with them. It seems like that's the three big things that we're doing here. And it's not it's not rocket science, right? It's just diligent, focused, disciplined work that you do, So I guess to wrap up, my kind of final question would be like, how do you keep on top of all this? Because you sold like about 40 homes a year for how many years? Like, how on earth are you finding the time to do all this?
And that's the hard part, is because I kind of created this system,
create a monster
on the back end of it, right? I created, I was always diligent, always trying to be a part, but the annual review process, all of that is kind of newer. My gifting process is newer. So I have my wonderful wife to thank, who's organized, who kind of runs some of the gifting stuff. I've, walked out of my office several days in the last couple of weeks and seen my mother-in-law, my my kids, stuff in envelopes for birthday cards. I also send birthday cards with Cold Stone gift cards to kiddos and, Starbucks gift cards to adults. So, it's kind of it's a gain, it's a huge process. And, as like a VA on the back end is going to start doing some of that and managing it. Because if I can just be the person that's interacting with the clients directly, that's where I have to get to. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, every one of my clients doesn't book an annual review.
Right.
And so that's where that goes. But, with the VA being able to follow up and explaining what it is, the first thing that people say is like, I don't want to be on your YouTube channel talking about my equity. And I'm like, no, you won't do that. But they see my videos, right? That's them telling me that they've seen my videos. And so it's a juggling act for sure, but it's got to be organized, right? You got to have, okay, I'm going to dedicate, 3 hours or 2 hours a day to client needs, right? And so that's part of the calendar link, that's part of the organization, but it's also a 15-minute streamlined thing, right? No one's going to be like, okay, I, have to, build a kitchen, build a bathroom. Like we don't have to go through all the things. Typically it's like, I don't know. I'll check in with my insurance guy. Cool. My loan's good. We're thinking about maybe doing, a concrete patio in the backyard. Do you have any money? Cool. We'll see on that. And then, we haven't really thought about the equity, but we'll think about it. Right. So it's almost conversation starters. You kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I'm not calling people. I'm not dialing for 2 hours a day. Right. This is my form of prospecting.
Right.
And that's where probably the time comes in. Now that I break it down, I'm not door knocking. I'm not doing open houses on the weekends. I'm constantly client driven, and it's already the people I know, like, and trust. I don't have to prove anything to them because on the front end, we're connected, right? They get weekly emails. They get, connected on socials. They're subscribed to my YouTube channel, whatever that is. So that's where all the credibility comes in. And then when it's one-on-one, that's it. And so at that point, 40, 50 deals doesn't seem like a whole lot because I'm just dealing with those clients. And then I have TCs on the back end that help. And, I'm working on making it a machine.
Yeah.
Because I love helping other agents build this.
Yeah.
Right. And so my new 6-week, foundations course that I'm doing with every agent that joins me is huge. Like, I love helping other people build business. That is not a lie. And it's a weird thing. Realtors, competitors, like whatever, like, let's build this right, because the honest truth is my competition isn't other real estate agents in this market. My competition is the AI, the Zillows, the people that are in place to replace us as agents. And if we have that experience and you're the number one person in your little sphere, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And if you can sell 7 houses a year, you can make 6 figures in our market. Like, you can easily do that with people that are already in your funnel.
Yeah.
If you do it the right way.
Yeah, that's huge. I think that's the biggest takeaway is that, the technology, everything that's going on right now, AI, it's insane. It's amazing, but it won't ever be able to give that personal touch. It won't send the kids cookies and write a personal note in there. It's just, at least not, you never know what's going to happen with it, but it's that touch is actually the caring part of it, the humanizing of it is like the biggest thing for me. And it's interesting because I know in the background, you've been building this into an actual system. So all of the agents that partner with you actually have these checklists, have these things that they can actually start, putting straight into their business without having to take the years of trial and error that you've spent building this stuff up. So, that's definitely one of the huge things here, guys. Obviously, Jeremy is insane at this stuff. His ability to personally build relationships and truly take time to care about his clients has built an amazing business. And the coaching style that he has and coaches realtors how to do this is phenomenal as well. So you can check him out. His YouTube channel link will be in the description below. You can check his channel out, the Realtor Playbook, which is awesome. But then also partnering with Jeremy is something that, if you're looking for these kinds of systems in place, looking to see like, okay, how can I actually build a sustainable long-term business, which I enjoy, And that's the thing about it. I know a lot of people who do really well in business, but they're door knocking, they're cold calling, and they don't enjoy what they do because they're not working with the people around them that they actually love, care about, love spending time with. And I think that's the biggest part of this business that you've built. So, we've seen agents plug into this, have tremendous success. So it's really, really cool. So reach out to Jeremy if you are interested in that kind of training, interested in building that kind of business. It is really, really awesome. Anything else to finish us up here, Jeremy, before we sign off?
Yeah, you kind of hit it on the head. Like when I sit down with my agents, they come on, one of the very first questions I ask them is, what do you enjoy doing? And if you can just do it with a little intention and start building that real estate, piece. You don't want to be a real estate agent breath. You don't want to, do all the things and, hey, are you looking to buy or sell or know anyone that is? Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Do stuff you enjoy. And how can you, maximize your time spent there and just enjoy it, right? And so many courses, all the things I have in place and the systems, coming together. I'm super excited to be helping agents and partnered with you, and, I just want to thank you too, because one of the things you've done for my business is, hey, like you have kids, like you can't work all the time. And so, just helping with the systems and processes that you offer, I've been able to, make sure that I'm enjoying every second of my why, right? My kids and my family. So super powerful there, but I just love helping people do what they love to do. And I know that you're not going to door knock and cold call forever if you're at a, 1% or below success rate and you hate it.
Yeah, and you hate it. That's the biggest thing. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much. I always enjoy jamming out. We spend so much time together, but breaking down this stuff is so cool to see it. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks, Jeremy. And I'll put all the links for his stuff below, everywhere you can find him. And then, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Lewi.
All right, brother.